Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Courtside Soundoff podcast today. I'm Josh Evander Holyfield. He's Angel Ortega. It is UFC 250 fight week. Amanda Nunes, Felicia Spencer in the main event. The NBA is going to be backed in next month. July 31st is apparently going to be the date. A little bit of boxing news and a bunch of other stuff we're going to talk about today. Hopefully we can give you guys a bit of a reprieve from all that's going on in the outside world. Before we talk about that, I want to talk about Fight TV. Because Fight Plus provides a special selection of premium events for boxing, MMA, pro wrestling, and other combat sports. Watch every event from over 25 promotions 30 days after airing. Fight Plus includes organizations like Brave FC, Unified MMA, UC MMA, CCW, BKB, FSW, BCB, Boxing, Kunlun, and much more are available for your viewing pleasure. You guys can cancel at any time after the 7-day free trial. But if you guys want to get that 7-day free trial, you can go through the link that's available on our Podbean page, our website, our YouTube. Anywhere you can find us, you can find the 7-day trial. Last Saturday night, UFC Vegas. If I told you a year ago that Gilbert Burns, the guy at lightweight that was fighting such a middle, not even close to the top 15, he was the card filler guy. He was the guy that you'd see at the bottom of the card, that he would be on the Fight Pass prelims, he'd be on the second fight of the ESPN prelims. He wasn't doing too much. He was fighting the Dan Moretz of the world, the Jason Sagos, the Christos Galagios. He was fighting those guys. And then if I told you a year ago that he would be 50-44ing the welterweight champion of the world, Tyron Woodley, you would not believe me. And that's exactly what's happened. He right now, as of this very moment, he's the number one welterweight in the world. He fought Woodley in the main event of the UFC Vegas card, and for 5 rounds, he beat the hell out of Tyron Woodley. It wasn't even close. There was no real. I think Woodley had a good last round. I think give him maybe that round, but that was it. 50-44s across the board. How impressed were you by Gilbert Burns? I mean, he put it on for 5 rounds. I think the thing that most impressed me was he went out there, he dropped him in the first 20 seconds, and he never let up. He never took his foot off the gas, not even once. It was one of the most impressive performances I've seen in a long time. He's coming in on short notice, and he just put it on him. So how impressed were you by Gilbert Burns in the main event?
I mean, what a clinic by Gilbert Burns. I jokingly said before the fight starts, the match just ended in the first round, and he drops Woodley, and I'm like, well, there goes. I did not expect that. Luckily, it didn't end in that moment because I wanted to see more. But man, was it a great showing? And I mean, I think going into the fight, there was a lot to look forward to because, I mean, we had seen him fight Maia, and that was like a big thing for me that he fought Maia before this fight because I'm like, well, Woodley has the wrestling, but Burns has the jiu-jitsu, which, I mean, the ground game didn't end up being the craziest of factor because it didn't really go down there a lot, I felt. Or, I mean, it did, but it wasn't to the extent where I'm like, okay, it was a significant, issue.
Yeah, I think it only went down there once.
Yeah. So when after he had the Damian Maia fight and they're like, he's gonna fight Woodley, I'm like, oh, will this stop? Yeah, Gilbert's got it in the bag. So I was pretty confident with my choice.
Yeah, and you were right to be confident. And I texted you right before. I was like, dude, Gilbert Burns is about to fuck up Tyron Woodley. I don't know why I picked Woodley. I don't even know why he did it.
I was so confused. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was the one time where I really want to ask you why, and I didn't. And I was like, why did he pick Woodley? Like, I really don't know. I didn't really want to argue it in the moment for some reason.
Well, here's the thing, right? In my head, I'm like, listen, y'all must have forgot. Woodley, he really, here's the thing, right? You remember after the Kamaru Usman fight, he didn't even look like he was there. Like, it looked like there was something off. Maybe there was an injury or something. I'm like, and before that, he had literally, arguably, the greatest performance of his career. Like, he straight up beat the shit out of Darren Till. Like, I think the significant strikes were 57-0, and he submitted him in the second round. I'm like, Woodley, I think he's going to go out there. I think he's going to shake off the ring rust, and I think he's going to beat him. I didn't think, I thought he had the 5-round experience. I wasn't sure if he would burn to go 5 rounds, if he would pace himself, if he would be a bit more absent-minded and blow all of his load early, or if he would just, be cautious because he had to fight 5 rounds. Fighting 5 rounds for the first time is a very difficult thing. And even after I picked him, I'm like, why the fuck did I pick Tyron Woodley? Like, in my head, I was like, I don't know why I did that. Because I've been a guy that always picks against Woodley. Like, I don't think there's been a single time where I picked Woodley to win outside of the Usman fight, which is the first time I was wrong.
Do you think the Leon Edwards fight goes different? Do you think that would have been a better fight for Tyron?
Here's the thing, right? I remember, I can only imagine how sick he felt, because I think he beats him. I think Leon Edwards does the same thing that Burns does. Like, I think maybe Woodley catches him because Gilbert Burns is a lot faster than Leon Edwards. But I think Leon Edwards does the same exact thing. Maybe he doesn't knock him down twice like Burns did, because he isn't shown to have that type of power. But I'm like, dude, he puts it on him. He would put him on it. Like, you know what it reminded me of? You know, whenever John and DC were supposed to fight at UFC 197, DC got hurt, and then John Jones looked like shit against OSP, and then DC was like, God, I wish it was me in there. That's the exact thing in my head that I was thinking about. Because I'm like, dude, I can only imagine how sick Leon Edwards feels. Because now he's going from like the number, I don't know, he's losing out on that number one spot.
I mean, also welterweight's got some hitters right now. Got some excitement. Got some names right now at the top. So no matter what, it's going to be a competition for that title fight. There's a lot to look forward to there. And the man jumped up 5 spots. He passed Colby, passed Jorge, passed Woodley, obviously, and passed Leon.
Which well deserved, too. I mean, he beat Damian Maia. He beat Gunnar Nelson, I believe. And then he dominated Woodley. Like, I take those 3 wins over any of those top guys right now.
Even over Masvidal?
Oh, well, Masvidal... Yeah, over Masvidal. I mean, the Tell win is probably the most impressive win in that stretch. Because Ben Askren, we didn't know, but he was fighting needing a hip replacement. And then he fought Nate Diaz, who kind of always been, kind of been a middling guy. Like, I don't want to be disrespectful, but that's just kind of the truth. I mean, he's always been kind of a win one, lose one guy.
I mean, he's entertainment, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. That card was awesome. The UFC 244, that fight was awesome. But yeah, man, like, I think he deserves it, and we'll play a little bit of welterweight matchmaker in a minute to determine who should get that title shot next and what you do with all those top guys. But there was a co-main event, very, very controversial one as well, as a split decision. Augusto Sakai defeating Blagoy Ivanov via a split decision, 29-28, 2 for Sakai, 1 for Ivanov. All the controversy kind of stems from the last round, where it was a very close fight. Could have gone either way, and Blagoy Ivanov in the final 2 minutes, he was going to get a big takedown. And a takedown that late in the fight and that close of a fight could absolutely have won him the fight. Augusto Sakai grabbed onto the fence. He held it for dear life. He stayed on his feet. Referee didn't see it. Actually, referee did see it, but Sakai got his free foul of the fight. Seems like, fighters sometimes forget that they get about 7 free fouls. Anyways, though, ended up going to decision. Did you agree with the decision? And did you also agree with the referee doing fuck all to, punish the guy?
The cage grab was, definitely not the right thing, but, I was right with my prediction, so I'm happy with that. But, I mean, it was a close fight, though. Generally, it was a close fight. I legitimately believe it was a close fight. I did feel like Sakai, though, like, I think it was either the first round or second round looked, like, really good, so I was very confident in that point. And then after that, I got a little bit closer. The rounds kind of went back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Sakai won, like, straight up. I thought he won. I
thought he won too, yeah.
I thought the decision was right, because I thought first round, I thought it was Ivanov's. Second round, I thought Sakai, he started putting it on the legs, and he put it on the legs in the first round, but I still thought Ivanov took it. And then by the second round, all that damage was wearing in. And then the third, I thought Sakai won that one as well, but I thought Ivanov could have won it with that takedown. But the referee, again, didn't do anything, and honestly, it's just a problem that I have with refereeing and MMA in general. Like, fighters get a bunch of free fouls. Like, John Jones has literally been poking people in the eyes. At this point, it's just not even a coincidence. Like, it's not just a mysterious thing that happens. John Jones has been poking dudes in the eyes his entire career. Nothing happens. No points are taken. It's just Colby Covington fouled the Kamaru Usman 7 times in their fight at UFC 245. Nothing happened to him. No points are taken. It just never happens. But yeah, I mean, good win for Sakai, though. He's putting himself in that. I think he's undefeated in the UFC now. Like, and he's had a couple close calls. I thought he lost the Arlovsky fight. He arguably lost this one as well, but it doesn't matter. Whenever you're getting those wins, think he's in the top 10 now, so good for him.
Gotta chase that bag.
You have to chase that bag. Good for him. Now we're going to play a little bit of welterweight matchmaker. With all this going on in the division, Kamaru Usman, Masvidal, that was a fight to make for next month, but now we have no idea what's going on. Masvidal said that they couldn't get the fight done. Usman said it was Masvidal's fault. Masvidal saying it's Usman's fault. Now Masvidal wants to fight Nate Diaz, and Kamaru wants to fight Conor McGregor, and Gilbert Burns is ranked number 1, and Covington wants Woodley, and let's play a little bit of welterweight matchmaker. Kamaru Usman, Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal, and Leon Edwards. Make fights for those guys. Andrew Ortega, you are now Sean Shelby. Make the fights.
Oh, boy. Well, I mean, Gilbert's not going to fight anytime soon. I'm just going to put it out there. Even though
I don't think so.
5-round fight, I don't think he's going to get his. I don't think he's going to fight for a while. Not by his choice, by the UFC. I'll put it like that. So I don't think Gilbert Burns fights right now. I don't think you give him that shot right now. I think what the UFC would want to push for is probably a Masvidal McGregor fight, and if not that, a Masvidal Usman fight, and that's the fight there. As far as that matchup there, Gilbert's gonna have to wait, and then they'll give him the Usman title shot. Unless something happens with Kamaru and they're like, something, Kamaru taking too long, interim title, and then they put in Masvidal, Burns, some crazy shit like that. And then I guess they could give, Colby's about to fight, right? So they could give Colby Tyron, which wouldn't be the worst fight, which I would be okay with. But I feel like no matter what, Burns has to wait, or they're going to make him wait. And they're really going to push that Kamaru Masvidal fight more than anything right now, or at least I would. And then I get Burns in the picture.
What do you do with that boy Leon Edwards?
Dang, Leon, that's the issue. Or we could do Colby Leon if Colby wins this fight. Colby's about to fight.
Well, Colby's not scheduled to fight anybody though.
I thought they had Colby on deck to fight someone.
Well, Tyrone said he accepted a fight against Colby, but there's been no official announcement, and Colby hasn't said anything.
Well, I think Colby Leon wouldn't be a bad fight. I don't think Colby wins that though, but that'd be a good fight.
Yeah, I actually don't either. I think Leon Edwards is the most slept-on man in that division.
So yeah, I think I guess that could be another good one right there. Leon Colby. There we go, Leon Colby, and then we could do Masvidal Usman, and then Gilbert's on the back burner, and then bam, we got it made.
All right, you got it made. I'm gonna play. You were Sean Shelby. I'll play Mick Maynard. All right. So I'm making that Kamaru Burns fight, bro. I think the UFC at this point, I think they're probably done with the whole Masvidal negotiations. Masvidal's he's got the BMF thing. He doesn't need to fight for a title right now. He has his own belt. Like, the dude's a star, and he's very well aware that if he loses that Usman fight, a lot of his star power goes away, and the UFC would rather have 2 stars in that welterweight division instead of 1, right? I think they make Usman versus Burns. Burns said he wants it. And here's the thing, the UFC right now, they could probably save a lot of money too, giving Burns that shot over Masvidal, you know what I'm saying? So I think they make that fight. I would make that fight Usman Burns. I think that'd be an awesome fight anyways. I think like the grappling exchanges would be amazing. They're both pretty equal on the feet. If anything, maybe Usman has more power. They both got that 5-round cardio. I'm making Covington Woodley. I think like if you're gonna get a fight, like if you're gonna get anybody to fight to get the best out of Tyron Woodley right now, I think it's Colby Covington. That's the reason why, like, a couple days after that fight against Burns, he said he's already accepted a fight against Covington. He said he'd fight Covington. He's always wanted to fight Covington. And Covington, he wants to get back in the win column. He really wants to, he wants to get that rematch against Kamaru Usman, and I don't blame him because that was an awesome first fight. And that would be a banger of a, second fight. So I think they should make that Woodley and Covington fight. If anything, if that doesn't happen, then I don't know who Covington would fight because there's not too many interesting options for him right now. Masvidal, 2 things for Masvidal, right? If the UFC wants to put him in a headliner, I think you got to do Masvidal versus Diaz 2 or Masvidal versus McGregor. I don't think Conor wants that Masvidal fight. He's shown literally zero interest in it. Even whenever, 246, whenever Masvidal was standing in the crowd, instead he talked shit on Paul Felder instead, which showed how little he actually cared about Jorge Masvidal as an opponent. So if anything, I think they could do that Nate Diaz 2 fight. But also, I would love to see a Leon Edwards Jorge Masvidal fight. They brawled in the backstage of UFC London. That was 3-piece in a soda and Masvidal Mania and all that shit. I would love to see that fight, man. I think that would be an awesome fight, and it puts them on deck for the winner to get a title shot. Because Leon Edwards, you can argue he deserves a title shot right now, man. Like, that dude's been putting it on people for so long, and he's just I felt so bad for him for losing out on that Woodley fight because I truly believe he could have beaten Woodley and then be the number one ranked guy right now. Like that'd be I don't want to say such an easy win, but I feel like it's a fight that lines up so well for him. So yeah, man, I think that's how you should book the welterweight division. But right now, there's so much going on there, and it's so hard to tell. And then you have guys just filtering out there like Connor and Nate, and what are they gonna do? And then you have weird dudes that are kind of half in 170, half out, like Pettis and Cowboy, and Robbie Lawler's still in the mix somewhere, and there's a bunch of it. And then Neil Magny's back, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, man, 170s, it's a problem division right now, bro.
You slept on the man Michael Chiesa too, Josh. That's another name.
I can't believe I mixed Mike Chiesa, bro. Mike Chiesa's been killing it. What's wrong?
He's on a tear too. That's another one. I just thought about it, and I looked at the record and was like, holy shit, Mike Chiesa's right there. Right. Just beat RDA.
He beat RDA, and then before that, he 30-24 Diego Sanchez. He was on the comeback trail. Like he straight up, he's just he looks so fucking. He looks like a middleweight. I don't know how it's possible that he ever made 155. Mike Chiesa, I'm sorry, bro. Real quick, I take this back. Masvidal Diaz too. Since the UFC's trying to make money right now, that's the money fight right there. And then Edwards Chiesa.
That's another good. That'd be a good fight right there. That's a banger right there. That's a hard banger.
That's a straight up banger, bro. I would love to see Michael Chiesa versus Leon Edwards. That's an awesome fight. I think we just solved the 170 problem, Angel. I think we just did it. But to kind of move on to UFC 250, which also has a little bit of 170 action, but we did just get talking off 170. Now this one's all about the bantamweights, bro. 3 bantamweight fights on the card that are huge. Before we get into that, we talk about the main event. This is one that I said last month. I was going on the record to say that it's going to be my terrible MMA take of the year by picking Felicia Spencer to beat Amanda Nunes. And I've kind of changed my opinion a bit. I think this could easily be more of a Raquel Pennington or a Valentina Shevchenko 2 fight for Nunes. I think she's probably... I said if she fights the way she does against Jermaine Duran, she searches for the finish, she gasses out, then I see Spencer winning. And I stick by that. I think if Nunes goes in there trying to take her out in the first round, she will lose that fight. I think she will. Felicia Spencer has a great gas tank. She has a chin made of adamantium. She doesn't get tired. She has a ruthless top game. Very good submission skills. She's bigger than Nunes. I could see Felicia winning if Nunes goes in there trying to headhunt, get the knockout in the first round, right? I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm stubborn, so I'm sticking my pick of Spencer just because I need to make up ground in the Courtside Soundoff Picks League. Because Angel's ahead of me by 5 picks, so I need to pick some upsets. So I'm gonna go Spencer here, but I could easily see this being kind of a Shevchenko 2 fight or a Pennington fight where Nunes is a lot more cold. She's calculated. She keeps the fight on the feet. But even then, it's hard. I don't know how it's gonna go because she's gonna have the 10. We haven't seen Nunes fight for an extended time at 145. She's gonna be a lot heavier in there. So. Who knows, man? But I know that you're going to pick Nunes, but just give your justification for the main event.
I'm still going to pick Nunes, man. Champ. I'm going to jokingly say she might retire after this fight. Just be, 20-4, defending the title one more time. When it just be the perfect storm, about to have a kid, all this going on. Good way to end it. Another one out of it.
Well, I don't even think that you're wrong. I don't think you're far off.
No, I don't know. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, I actually thought about this earlier this week too, because she's talked about retiring relatively soon before, and then she's having a kid soon, real soon. She's gonna be a mom, so I could really see her retiring, win, lose, or draw after this fight, and nobody would blame. It's and even if she wasn't having a kid, and she wanted, even if she had no thing of retirement, she would have defended the title twice. Defended 2 belts, right? She would have beaten every single name there is possible to beat the division. Every single other female GO contender, she's beat her. Shevchenko twice, Rousey, Holm, Tate, Cyborg, and now she's already beating kind of the next kind of crop. She's beaten every UFC women's champion ever, from flyweight to featherweight. Like, she would have done every single thing possible. So I would not be surprised if Amanda Nunes retires. Because, for example, who does she fight after this?
Dude, she's gonna destroy her body and fight Whaley.
Oh, Jesus Christ, please, no.
Only if Whaley was a little bit taller.
Sometimes I think about, like, pound for pound stuff. Like, if this person was the same weight as this person, Whaley versus Nunes would be an awesome fight in UFC 4. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh my goodness.
yeah, I could see Nunes retiring though, because, like, for example, she wins this. Who does she fight next? Megan Anderson. You know, does she fight Aspen Ladd? Does she fight Holm again? Like, there's nobody.
The sad thing is, none of those fights are even like intriguing to me, which is weird to say. But that's just the state that women's MMA is in right now, sadly. But one day we'll get to a point where there's a lot of contending and competition and excitement, you know.
It's not even that it's like that's the state of women's MMA, because there's a lot of, like, for example, I think if you took Nunes out of the picture, I think 135 would be pretty competitive. Holm, Pennington, Ladd, JDR, like, there's a lot of good names there.
No, you're right, but I'm just saying, just because she's there, this is the current state of it, because there's nothing to make.
She's so far ahead. And, like, I brought up a lot of names a minute ago. I think the only one that could potentially be competitive with Nunes is probably Megan Anderson, and I know I've always been on that train, but she's literally a 6'3" featherweight with tons of knockout power. But also, Nunes could probably just grapple the shit out of her and submit her in the first round. Like, I'd literally just love to see Nunes fight against somebody who has so much size on her, because we've never seen that happen, because Nunes, as far as size goes, she's near the top end of that division. So, yeah, but to kind of move on, actually, real quick, I had a question to ask. If Spencer wins, where does this rank in the UFC all-time upsets? It's got to be number 1, right? Like, ever.
Number 1? I guess it's another good one. Well, no, I don't even think that's an upset to be real. I was gonna bring up the Tito loss.
Oh.
Yeah, well, to the 40-year-old man. But even then, I don't think that's really like an upset. That's like, oh my god, like looking back at it, you know what I mean?
Well, in terms of like history, I think there's only 2 other ones you can put it up there with, and that's Sarah GSP, and then obviously Bisping Rockhold too. That's it.
I'm trying to think really hard. Would you consider the... Oh, man, I already lost my train of thought. Well, no, I guess now No, I can't say that. With all the information we have now about all that fight.
It'd be... Okay, what fight are you thinking of?
I was going to bring up Ronda, but I'm like, well, we knew Ronda didn't have the striking. and
Ronda and Holly?
Yeah, but I'm like, looking back at it, it's not really an upset.
That is one of the... Well, that's for the time, though. That's still one of the biggest upsets ever. If we're talking odds-wise, I think Ronda was a 6-1 favorite. Mm-hmm. So that was still a huge upset.
I don't know, but no, you're right. This is definitely be an upset. But I mean, I feel like Felicia isn't full. It's not Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua type situation where a lot of people really disregard, Andy. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to think about. A situation like that.
I suppose so, but I don't know a single person that like even has her as like a live dog here. Like, just looking at like the internet and seeing it.
I guess you're right, but maybe there has to be a set of people who have who maybe don't pick her, but have laid out the plan or the idea of which she has to go about during the fight to be successful in. Because from what you say, it's like there's a lot of things there. It's just a matter of putting those tools together, making the fight go a certain way, and then obviously taking down the big dog. Yeah,
I mean, I definitely think there's a path to victory there. Like I'm one of the few people that's kind of championed the idea that Spencer can get it done. I mean, she's a ruthless top game. I mentioned earlier, ruthless top game, great gas tank, amazing chin, and is a really, really strong grappler in general with great submission skills. I could see her winning this, but also I'm biased because I've seen her fight in Invicta. I've watched pretty much her entire journey here, so I could see it happening.
I don't know, man. I've also been a proponent of having faith in certain people who, granted, both of us. I mean, I did say Jairzinho had a chance at being in Ghana.
Yeah, well,
I still don't think that was too far fetched. It's
funny. It's funny too because I'm pretty sure we were right on a lot of stuff. It's only 25 seconds of that fight, right? But during that time, we literally watched Jairzinho. All the stuff we talked about, we saw him do. Like he threw like 2 or 3 leg kicks that all landed. whenever Ngannou started swinging in on him, he landed 2 counter left hands like we said, and Ngannou just took him and put him out. So like
No. The tools were there. It wasn't successful. Also, I mean, as soon as Ngannou took that first leg kick, he's like, "Fuck that! I'm not taking another one of those." Because the man is a kickboxer, so we already knew that wasn't going to go down. But that's the past now.
We were literally like, but that wasn't even a bad pick though, because we didn't pick him to win. We were right on the money on what he was going to do.
Or what he should do. What he should have done. He did do all of that. Ngannou was there.
If he didn't counter, if actually, it's funny, right? If he did not choose to counter that with that left hook like he normally does, right? That left hook, which he has so much success with, right? If he did not choose to counter with that, he could have just ran out of there and started going back to the game plan. Instead, he's like, bro, my left hook works on it. I knocked out Arlovsky with this. I knocked out Overeem with this. Fuck it, bro. I'm throwing that left hook. He threw like 2 of those left hooks, and then Ngannou just walked right through him and knocked him out. Like, that's ridiculous. The man's he's a cyborg. We got really off topic, so let's go to the but let's go to the co-main. The co-main, kind of I don't want to say it's a loser leaves town matchup, but it's a loser is in a lot of trouble matchup. Cody Garbrandt, the former bantamweight champion of the world, last time he won UFC 207 4 years ago, which is insane. Like, if I told you, like, right after that fight, the minute after that fight, that Cody Garbrandt, that would be his last win for 4 years, you would have thought I was insane. But that was the last time he won that amazing performance against Dominic Cruz, which just, it's absolutely insane to me, man. Like, it's just, he lost 3 in a row, all via knockout, and it wasn't even like he looked bad either. He was winning the TJ fight the first time around. He knocked him down and he finished him in the first. Second TJ fight, he was looking pretty good. He tagged TJ. I think he might have dropped TJ again or tagged him or something along the lines. It's been a while since I've seen that fight. And then he went for the kill, got knocked out again. And then the Munoz fight, he just, instead of sticking to the game plan, he decided to swing and bang and look for the knockout. And he tagged Munoz a lot of times. But it's like he forgot about that Brazilian chin, and he ended up getting put out because Munoz just weathered the storm. Now here we go. 4th fight, right? He's taking on Rafael Sunsao, who's probably, in my opinion, the most underrated dude in the UFC period. The guy at one point from like 2011 to 2017, he went like 11-1. His wins were Marias, Sterling, Rob Font, Brian Caraway, Pedro Munoz, TJ Dillashaw. Like, he was one of the baddest dudes of that division, man. Like, it's, and now here he is though. Like, he's lost 2 in a row. He lost to Marias in the rematch, and then he lost to Corey Sandhagen, which are both, top dudes. But he, I remember that Sandhagen fight. I don't remember it being particularly close. And then the Marias one, he got finished really quickly, got knocked down, nearly stopped, and then he got submitted. This is a fight where both dudes need to get back into the win column, and I'm not sure why I'm doing it because I know I'm probably going to regret it. But Cody Garbrandt, I think he's going to stick to the game plan. He switched camps. Now he's training with Mark Henry, who's one of the greatest striking coaches in the world. I think they're going to keep him on the game plan. And I think even if he doesn't stick on the game plan, I'm not sure if Rafael Sunsao has the power to get him out of there. So I'm going to go with Cody No Love in the co-main event. Who do you got?
Oh boy, this is a tough one, bro. I actually think this is probably the hardest pick so far, maybe of the year for me, right here.
It's funny because same page.
Yeah, I think it really is for a number of reasons. But it's like 4 years, Rafael isn't even like a sleeper pick. Like, he has all the tools there. All the losses are forgivable, like all the recent losses, because other losses are really old. Just leave but it took him within recent time. Like, I feel like they're all forgivable. But then he also, a lot of those decisions he had with like Aljamain, Rice, there were split decisions. They just edged it out. Maybe how people could believe it was the other way around or whatever, vice versa. And then Cody got murked 3 times, 3 times in a row. 4 years since the last win. Hasn't tasted victory. He's still young though, 28, hitting that prime athletic year of your life. There's some hope here. I'm really torn on this one. This is like I told you, this is probably the hardest pick right here. I'm almost tempted to pick Rafael, but for some reason I think there's light at the end of the tunnel for Cody, so I'm gonna pick Cody.
That's kind of the way I feel, man. Like, he switched camps. He's saying all the right things. And Rafael, man, like when this first fight first got made, I was picking Rafael Sunsao. But the more that I've thought about it, the more I've seen kind of interviews with Cody. He looks like he's in a good mind, like a good state of mind. Training with a good team. He's taking the time off to kind of heal and recover and kind of get his mind in the right place to fight. I think he's going to do it, man. Like, I think I'm a huge Rafael Sunsao guy, but I just don't think with the way their fighting styles are, I don't think Sunsao, even if Cody No Love goes fucking insane in there like he does sometimes, I don't know if Sunsao has the power to spark him out of there. Like, I don't off the top of my head, I don't know how many TKO or knockouts that Sunsao has, but he's very much a guy that is going to stick there, and he'd rather outpoint you than put himself in harm's way. So, actually, in the UFC, let me just check this. I think he has one TKO win ever. In Sunsao does. So
it was recent too.
No, it was in 2012.
Really? I just saw 2017. Matthew Lopez.
I completely missed. He has two. Excuse me. You're right. I completely missed that one.
But there's big gaps though. There's big gaps, you know.
Yeah, so he has the power to spark guys out, but it's like Matthew Lopez. I don't know if he's in the UFC anymore. And the guy that before that he knocked out was only in the UFC for like 2 fights. Japanese guy, Issei Tamura. So, does he have the power to spark out UFC competition? Is kind of the question. But regardless, same page. We're picking Cody No Love. Team Garbrandt. I think he's gonna be able to do it. I think it's gonna be a close fight. I would not be surprised if it's extremely close because Cody, we haven't seen much experience for him at the top level. It seems really, really weird, but like he fought Mizugaki and then Cruz, and those are the only 2 ranked guys he's fought, and I don't think either one of those guys are in the rankings currently. So really, this is one of his first fights at the top level, so we'll see how it goes. And also he knocked out what's the name that I completely am losing track of, who at the time was like 20-1. Super highly rated guy, and I feel really, really bad for forgetting his name. But he was also ranked for Thomas Almeida. So he does have some wins, but probably one of the top questions is, can he kind of stick in there with a guy of a Sunsao caliber who's one of the most underrated guy in the division? Kind of move on to the third fight on the card. This one was equally as hard for me to pick. We were talking about how Garbrandt and Sunsao was one of the hardest fights to pick. Aljamain Sterling, Corey Sandhagen, number 2 versus number 4, both guys on super hot streaks. Sandhagen undefeated in the UFC. Sterling 4 wins in a row in the UFC. You guys know that I've been super high on Aljamain Sterling for a long time. That Pedro Munoz win, his striking looked on point, and we already knew the ground game was one of the greatest in the UFC. Like he's looking so good in this 4-fight stretch. And even before that too, like he lost to Moraes via kind of a freak knockout. Moraes was throwing the head kick. He got clipped with the knee. Like, he missed the head kick, but he landed the knee, knocked him out. Before that, he beat Augusto Mendez. He beat Renan Barão. But after that Moraes loss, he beat Brett Johns. He submitted Cody Stamann. He beat Jimmy Rivera, completely dominated him, and then he dominated Pedro Munoz, and his striking looked like the best it's ever has. Corey Sandhagen, undefeated in the UFC, wins over Austin Arnett, Yuri Alcanta, Mario Batista, John Lineker via split decision, and Rafael Sunsao. He's 12-1. I'm going to take Sterling here. I think part of me was more tempted to pick Sandhagen, partially because it's a smaller cage. It's 5 feet smaller, something like that, because I feel like that kind of works for Sandhagen's game, but I'm still going to pick Sterling, man. I'm fully on the Sterling train at this point. I think his striking is finally getting on par with his wrestling and his jiu-jitsu. I'm going to take Aljamain Sterling, probably via a very close split decision. What do you think?
I think I'll take Aljamain as well, Josh. I'm on the Aljamain Sterling train, or as Cejudo said before his retirement, Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah, that one was pretty. That one got him in hot water.
It did get him in hot water.
Yeah, that was not the coolest thing in the world, but whatever. It's quadruple C. Sometimes he says stupid shit. To kind of move on, next on the card, welterweight fight, Anthony Rocco Martin, Neil Magny. I'm high on both these guys, and I'm pretty sure you are as well. Neil Magny, he's been in the UFC for seemingly forever. Like, I have not, like, 2013, he's been in the UFC since then. 2012, if you count the Ultimate Fighter, and he's been in the division for so long, man. Wins over Hung Yu Lim, Kelvin Gastelum, Eric Silva, Hector Lombard, Johnny Hendricks, Carlos Condit. And his last fight, 2 years he took off and he fought Li Jinglang. Probably the greatest performance of the UFC. Like, to me, he just completely outworked him. He weathered the storm, and then he was fighting a guy in Jinlang who finally he broke into the rankings, and he was on a tear as well, man. Like, he looked phenomenal before that, and he just got dominated by Neil Magny. Anthony Rocco Martin, kind of a similar story. He's a very active guy. Fought 3 times in 2019. Sergio Moraes, Damian Maia, and Hamzan Imov, and he beat Imev. Excuse me if I don't know how to pronounce his name. Regardless, though, he's won like 5 of 6. A couple of good names in that stretch. I'm gonna take Neil Magny. I think the re-energized Neil Magny. He took the time off, and I just can't get over that Jinglang win, man. Like, he looked so damn good. What do you think between Rocco Martin and Neil Magny?
You gotta take the boy Neil Magny. The seasoned man is back once again.
We've agreed on everything but the main event so far, man. What's up with that? We gotta
Hey, sometimes we don't always disagree. We can't always disagree because then we'll always be wrong. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, I know. But to kind of move on to one that I know that we're going to agree on. Sean O'Malley, Eddie Wineland. This fight, I love this fight. I know some people were saying like O'Malley deserves this type of an opponent, or he deserves that guy, or whatever. Eddie Wineland, former, I believe he's ranked 15. I don't know, like I haven't checked the rankings, but I believe he's ranked. Regardless, though, he's a former WEC champion coming off of a knockout win over Grigory Popov. Before that, he lost 2 in a row. But before that, he won 2 via TKO against Frankie Saenz and Takeya Mizugaki. Very much he's a live dog, man. Like he's still a really, really good fighter at this point in his career. He has a bunch of great wins. He's kind of one of those guys that's been around for so long in the lower weight class that kind of helped flesh out those weight classes when they first began. And then Sean O'Malley, man, like I don't even need to tell you guys about this kid's credentials, but obviously he came into the UFC via the Dana White Contender Series. He smoked weed with Snoop Dogg. He just had that it factor, man. Like he's 3-0 in the promotion. Wins over Terrion Ware, Anjay Sukuptat. And the Quinones win was probably the best one he's had so far. Yeah, he's undefeated in his MMA career, 11-0. And it looked like in that Quinones win, like he took 2 years off due to the bullshit with USADA, right? And then it looked like during that one, he was just taking out revenge. Like he had 2 years of pent up rage over just a bullshit thing with USADA, and he completely took it out on Jose Quinones. I think he's gonna do a similar thing here. Eddie Wineland, he's a live dog. He has good striking. He's a very well-rounded guy. I think Sean O'Malley. I think he's gonna get a second round TKO. I think he's gonna win via knockout. I'm betting the second round. I don't know if it's gonna be that like right in the middle or near the end or whatever. But regardless, this kid, I think he wins, and he gets the rocket strapped to him. I think he's going to be shot into the atmosphere, and I think he's going to get in that rankings. I think he's going to be, bold prediction, I think he's going to be fighting one of the bantamweights that are on this card in his next fight. I know you're going to pick O'Malley, but go ahead and give me your
There's quite a few bantamweights on here. That's a lot of options for him.
Exactly, but I'm putting it in. I'm speaking it into existence.
Speaking manifesting. No. I'm on the same page with the boy Sean O'Malley's on the rise. 25 years young. You know, sadly, because of the whole, like you said, he's out of bullshit. Should probably have more fights under his belt, and should probably by this time already be ranked and maybe be getting into some, maybe nearing that title shot. Maybe, who knows, or at least be pushing almost in that direction, getting there. So it's all good. But this is an exciting man right here, somebody who we've had that on for a while, and there's something to look forward to right here.
So do you think he's going to get the win via knockout? Do you think he's going to be able to put away the vet, Eddie Wineland?
Probably. That shit has to be a little rusted a little bit, right? It has to be taking a little bit of damage, right? He can't be, Wolverine and just be made of, pure just rock hardness,
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, so we're on the same page there. I think Sean O'Malley's going to get the win. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for this main card in general. I know a lot of people are shitting on this card, and it's like not everything could be as stacked as UFC 249, bro. Like that's not feasible, especially considering all the stuff that's going on with travel issues and the coronavirus and what's going on in the outside world. That's just not feasible. But as for the undercard, I like a lot of this undercard too, but if I'm going to pass it to you, what fight do you think, if you were to talk about a couple fights on the undercard, which ones do you think stand out?
Oh, our Chase Hooper fight, young dog down there in the prelims, and then the Orsi Formiga fight in the early prelims.
All right, I'm glad you brought those two up because I want to talk about them, but also I didn't want to spend all of my time on them. Alex Caceres, Chase Hooper, that is a great matchup right there. Alex Caceres has been in the UFC forever, literally it doesn't feel like he's been in the UFC as long as he has, but he's been in the UFC for like a decade. A very win one, lose one type of guy. If you get past him, you're probably going to be in the top 15. If you can't, you're probably going to be outside of it. Chase Hooper still only 19 years of age, undefeated, 9-0. I'm not sure who's going to win that one, man. I could actually see Caceres beating him. I think Caceres is a really live underdog on this fight. I would not be surprised to see him pick up the win. GCA Formiga versus Alex Perez, that's an awesome fight right there. I think the guy who wins that can arguably be in line for the next title shot because Benavidez and oh my god, I feel so bad for forgetting the guy's name. Davis Figueroa, they're running it back in July. I could easily see the winner of that fight be right in line for that title shot. Or maybe matched up with somebody like Brandon Moreno next to get that title shot. Yeah, but two fights I'm going to bring up. Cody Stamann, Brian Kelleher, that's going to be a banger of a fight right there. Those guys, they agreed to fight on Twitter, and that's what has ended up happening. I think Stamann, he's ranked a lot higher than Kelleher. I don't even know if Kelleher is even ranked. But yeah, man, that's an awesome fight right there. I want to bring up Evan Dunham, Herbert Burns. Evan Dunham coming out of retirement for a catchweight fight against Gilbert Burns' brother. Herbert Burns coming off the win over Nate Landwehr. That was an awesome knockout win for him. Evan Dunham, he's lost 2 in a row, and even before that, he had a draw against Beneil Dariush. I'm gonna take Herbert Burns here. I think the Burns brothers are gonna have a really good 2 weeks. I'm gonna take Herbert Burns to get I don't know if it's gonna be a stoppage win, but I'm gonna take him to get the win in general. And that kind of wraps up our UFC talk for this week. Yeah, so UFC 250, it doesn't feel like a fight week. It really doesn't. Obviously, because a lot of stuff going on in the outside world, with the coronavirus, and obviously with the protests going on, it feels like it's not even happening. Is it just me? Does it feel like there's no buzz? But whatever. To kind of move on to the news that some of the greatest news I've seen in a long time. With all this going on, it's good to actually get some good news in this rough and tumble world that we're living in. The NBA is back, boys. We've heard the stuff going on. We've heard the negotiations going on, and they've kind of been half in, half out about will they restart the league? Where will they put it? We got the news. Woj bomb yesterday afternoon. 22 teams returning. The top 8 in each conference, and then all eligible playoff teams that are within, I believe, 8 games of, I don't know how they're figuring that out. I believe it's if they're within 8 games, right, of the 8th seed. So that means that the teams returning will obviously be the top 8. I don't need to go over those ones, but the joining the current 16 playoff teams in Orlando are New Orleans, Portland, the Suns, Sacramento, San Antonio, and also Washington in the East. We talked about how the playoff picture is set in the East. I guess Washington's going to come along, bro. I guess that's how that's going to work because they're technically still eligible. And Bradley Beal's just he's eyeing it, thinking he's got a chance. But it's going to start July 31st. If the NBA Finals were to go all 7 games, it could wrap up potentially as late as October 12th. There'll be 8 regular season games to determine the playoff rankings and kind of finalize everything. If they're close enough, if the 8th and the 9th seed are close enough, they will have a play-in series where best of 3 in order to get that play-in to become the 8th seed if they're within, I believe, 3 games. So that may be factored in. I'm not sure if I have all the details correct here, but it's kind of confusing. But regardless, Angel, how excited for you? I know that you're a Suns fan. You're going to get to see them play. They could potentially end that playoff drought. Whenever you got the news, what was your first reaction to seeing that? Seeing that the NBA is back?
I mean, it's awesome, but then at the same time, it's like, man, it's not the same because it's not going to be like normal, no crowd, which is fine. I mean, we've seen the UFC with no crowd. It's worked pretty well. It's different for sure. There's definitely a different atmosphere, but man. I don't know. This is something else right now, man. I'm 5 minutes ago. I have Twitter pulled up. Woj just dropped on below. The NBA has set August 25 draft lottery and October 15 draft day. Sources say. So that's a lot later than what it usually is. That's kind of wild.
Oh, yeah.
So. Just put that out here. That just got tweeted out 5 minutes ago by Woj Bomb live.
Live Woj Bomb.
Live Woj Bomb.
Something I saw people talking about is like, and we've talked about all the factors of what teams will come in. We talked about it last week of like teams coming in shape, different teams that could go off because there's no crowd. Something I didn't even think about is like the implications of there being no crowd. Home field advantage is no longer a thing, right? Home court advantage is no longer a thing. Everybody's free throw ratings are going to go through the roof because there's no crowd to distract them anymore. Like it's wild to me. I didn't think about a lot of this stuff until I started reading about it. But if we were to go ahead and guess here, 8 games left. Are you happy with that? Because I know you and me were talking about cutting down on the amount of teams, and it seemed like a foregone conclusion to us that they were just going to go ahead and start in the playoffs. That's not what's going to be happening. Do you think their 8 regular season games are being used more as a means of just kind of getting the players ready and able to kind of compete and get ready for the playoffs? Or you think it's actually just because they actually want to go ahead and help determine the playoff bracket as a whole rather than just force it in?
It's probably more of a money thing than anything. I feel it has to be a money thing. There's no way it isn't. I don't know. I don't know if they really even care about that. They just want to get this stuff done in a way. I mean, they care, but they don't care. I feel like they're on a weird line with it. It's kind of like, well, we have to get through this to meet these, things and get things going and to make this amount of money, but also to make it work so people are happy and people don't complain. I think it's a number of little factors like that.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know, man. I'm hyped. And if you're a fan of those teams that are not going to make the playoffs, like totally not going to make the playoffs, I can only imagine that you're still pretty happy. I mean, like, as a Thunder fan, I had no idea that like we were going to ever, like, I didn't think we were going to make the finals or anything. But I feel like because everything's so weird now with no crowd and everything's going to be a lot different, teams are going to be coming in more in shape and that type of thing. Some teams are going to be less in shape. I could easily see players are going to be weird this year, bro. Like, either I don't know if they're going to be as good. They're probably not going to be as good, the shit, because crowd is such a huge thing. But I feel like we're going to see a lot of teams in a lot of different positions, and hopefully the Phoenix Suns make it. It's just, Angel, I'm pulling for you, bro. If you guys, straight up, I think you guys are going to get fucked up by LeBron in the first round, but at least you guys have the chance to make it. But here's kind of the last thing to talk about in the NBA. Next year, expected to start on Christmas. Yay or nay? Are you happy with that? Because obviously we know the season's going to have to be postponed because by the time this season ends, it's going to be the normal time the next season would start, a 2-month off season. Are you cool with that?
I mean, it's good for the players, but it's a nay because it's like, dang, again, like, really, you're going to have to go through this? Like, I get it. It's all understandable, but it's like, damn, it sucks kind of.
Well, it reminds me of the 2011 season because I remember the 2011 season starting on Christmas, and I actually really liked that. That's just my thoughts, though.
I don't know. They'll make it work.
They'll figure it out. Yeah, but I'm kind of cool with it. Like, I think that's gonna suck for the players though, because I feel like the players probably enjoy having the summer as much as other people do, and now they don't get to have that. Now it's gonna start on Christmas. Not much time for the off season of the free agency, but so yeah, and apparently the NBA literally so it was reported that they were going to agree to approve the 22-team format. It's actually just got official. Angel sent me the tweet, so it's official, boys. The NBA is officially back. So yeah, that's a good thing to leave this note on. If we're talking about reported stuff, oh man, actually I just saw it was a 29-1 vote, so that means that somebody disagreed.
What an asshole! What an asshole, that one guy.
That one team. I bet you it was like Portland. Bet you it was Portland. Because I wonder if Dame's going to play. Dame said he wasn't going to play if they didn't have much of a shot to make it.
They have a shot, though.
I mean, they technically do.
Dame said if they had no ability to at least try to get into the playoffs, he would not want to come back. And now he has the ability to play. So let's see it, bro. Put that talking to work. Put that talking to work, Dame. Put that talking to work.
That's fair. To kind of move into the boxing world, dude, this feels like an actual Courtside Soundoff because we've been kind of makeshifting these shows, and I think they've worked. You guys have been listening to them. We've been getting the likes on YouTube. We've been hearing good feedback. But it feels like these kind of makeshift shows. This feels like an actual one because now there's more boxing news and boxing predictions. Canelo is going to apparently be fighting in September. No crowd is expected. As of right now, that could obviously change, as stuff changes in the U.S. and God forbid anywhere else who wants to fight. Possibly against Sergey Divyachenko, who obviously had that amazing fight against Triple G earlier this year. Honestly, this year feels like a fucking whirlwind. I don't remember if it was this year or last year, but he did have an awesome fight against Triple G that he arguably won, officially lost though. And then also against Anthony Durrell. Durrell, I believe he's coming off of a loss. I don't remember against who though. Are you cool with either one of those matchups? I saw people roasting the matchups on Twitter, on Reddit as well. But also, you got to remember right now, he's probably just trying to get used to this whole thing. It's probably just going to be one of those bouts that they throw in that he can, he obviously will win as opposed to a Billy Joe Saunders fight. That it would be a lot harder. Which
is weird because it's both of guys are coming off losses. Granted, both formerly fighting for a title, so I guess it's not the worst. But I feel like Anthony's doesn't really pose a threat. Sergey has some stuff. I feel like Sergey at least could give him some competition. But as far as is this the best possible matchup? No, but we'll work with what we got for sure.
Yeah, I'm way more excited than a Divyachenko fight because he showed, man. Me and you kind of both underrated that kid before that Triple G fight, but god damn, that was a banger of a fight, and he showed that he could stay in there with a top competition. I know a lot of people think Triple G's. I mean, he is older now.
He has a lot of accolades, though. Divyachenko has all the accolades, all the possible accolades, before professional level. He has all of them, Olympic, European, all of that stuff is there. And I'm guessing he also has an amateur background because it's probably not even a surprise.
Yeah, he has the amateur background. He has a lot of accomplishments that we kind of underrated going into that Triple G fight. But I think that Canelo fight would be awesome. I honestly do. I think Canelo he'd take it clearly. But even then, I think he could pose some problems for him. I think that'd be an awesome fight. I don't think he'd win, but I think it'd be an awesome, just straight up banger. I don't think Anthony Durrell poses any problem, and I think if that one gets made, he'd walk right through him. Whenever I saw the announcement that, not the announcement, the reported talk of Divyachenko versus Canelo, I'm like, oh, that's an awesome fight right there. And then whenever I saw that Durrell was being considered, I was really disappointed. I'm going to be straight up. I was extremely disappointed. I'm like, please, just make the Divyachenko versus Canelo fight. Durrell's not bad, but he's very clearly a step below. I mean, he's coming off the TKO loss to Benavidez, so just you guys know the fight to make. It's Divyachenko.
That man put a click on him too, a clinic.
Yeah, he lost clearly, so they know what's going on, man. Please just give us the Divyachenko fight. That would be awesome. Especially during right now, and give us something to look forward to. And it's not a Billy Joe Saunders fight. It's not a Triple G fight. Not a Triple G trilogy fight. But yeah, man, that'd be awesome. That'd be a really fun fight. Durrell, I'd not have much interest in, but you guys know, by the time it rolls around, I totally have interest. I'd manufacture it in my head to be excited. But speaking of other reported fights, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield 3. We talked about last week about how Mike Tyson apparently had a big name that he was in talks with. That was not Evander Holyfield. It seems that the Middle East has gotten involved. Probably Saudi Arabia that has gotten involved and probably thrown a lot of money to make that Evander Holyfield 3 fight happen. Mike Tyson's 52. Evander Holyfield is 56. Doesn't matter, though, because apparently if the Middle East wants it, the Middle East will get it. Apparently they've thrown a lot of money at both of them for a November fight. An exhibition still, 4 rounds. Reportedly no headgear. It's all according to the Sports Bible. I'm not sure if that's true or not. Because obviously there's a lot of talks. Everybody wants to fight Tyson right now because apparently he's back. Is this the fight that's cool for you? Because in a way for me, I'm pretty disappointed because Evander Holyfield, obviously this completed trilogy that they were supposed to. There was reports of them doing it in the 2000s. It never ended up happening. And the first 2 were some of the most watched boxing matches in history. So I see why it's happening. But Evander Holyfield, if you guys listen to him talk lately, I don't think he should be fighting anybody. And he clearly looks like a step behind Tyson, which makes sense because it's a 5-year difference, and Mike Tyson's probably on the Mexican supplements.
Oh boy. I mean, for what it's worth, I mean, it's Iron Mike. We got him back. I mean, I'm appreciative no matter what it is, and I mean, we couldn't throw the young dog at him, or at least we shouldn't. We like Iron Mike. We don't want Iron Mike to be gone a little sooner than he should be.
Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't be fighting anybody actually good.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But if they wanted to have him fight Bermain Stavern or something,
Oh my God, poor
I'd let
Bermain.
it happen. Like, I don't care. Like,
Sure, we can do that if you really wanted to, but I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm okay
I guess
with it.
I guess Evander makes the most sense for star power name wise, and it's for charity. You guys got to remember, and I'm sure both of them. I know Evander has his own organization that helps children, and I know Mike wants to do it to help for other charities. I don't know the actual names of, but yeah. So I see what's happening. Probably going to make a lot of money. Good for them. It's probably just going to be an exhibition, but I would not be surprised if Mike flips the script on him and just tries to knock him out. Like, Mike looks like he's talking about the gods of war reawakening in him, and Evander Holyfield's doing it for the benefit of children. So it's just like kind of different wavelengths, bro. Like, I mean, like, but good for Mike, man. Good for Evander. If they make a lot of money, good for them. They're probably going to be doing. If I were to guess, they'd probably just do it like probably in front of a smaller crowd that spend a lot of money in the Middle East, probably Saudi Arabia. Probably be on pay-per-view in the U.S. because God forbid everything's on the pay-per-view. But yeah, now we have finally our first boxing prediction in God knows how long. I don't particularly care about this fight. I'll be straight up. It is next Wednesday, I believe. It's June the 9th. I don't know if that's next Wednesday, but sounds right. Shakur Stevenson, very highly rated prospect. 13-0, 7 knockouts, only 22. Taking on Felix Caraballo from Puerto Rico. Not a whole lot to note about him. He's 13-1 with 2 draws. I believe he's on a 5-fight winning streak, 4 of which have been TKO or KO. He's coming off a win to Sergio Lopez earlier this year in January. I know we're both going to pick Shakur, but are you excited for this? Because I feel like, whenever MMA came back, it was with a boom. They had 2 title fights, the best card of the year. Whenever boxing is coming back, it's with a highly rated prospect going against a nobody. Like, is this something that you're still looking forward to, though?
Nah, not really. I mean, even to begin with, I'm not like always the most excited person about a Shakur fight to begin with. So
I didn't mean to laugh. Sorry, Shakur, you'd probably beat me up.
yeah, and your family.
Yeah.
Unless you already did it yourself, Josh.
Oh, you know how I am.
So yeah, I mean, even then, it's not like Shakur would poke too much interest for me, at least personally.
Yeah, that's fair. I know there's another boxing card, I think 2 days later, but that one's not even finalized. I think there's only one fight on there, and it's between people I don't know. I know that Michaela Meyer, I've heard her name. I know she's going to be fighting in the co-main. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited because I'd watch Huey Fury fight right now, right? I just want something. But overall, I'm going to take Stevenson, be a probably middle round TKO, possibly even a decision. Felix Caraballo, I mean, not much to note about the kid, but he does have 5 wins in a row. Like I said, he seems to have knockout power if his record is anything to suggest. Yeah, I'm going to take him. I'm going to take Stevenson in the main event. I'm assuming you're going to pick Shakur as well.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
What do you think? Stoppage, decision?
Well, mid to late stoppage, like you said, probably.
Okay, so same page. And I was about to wrap up and do the outro and all that whenever I just saw a Shams bomb. It was Portland that voted against it.
That is funny.
That's hilarious.
That's funny. You're correct.
Hey Brian, I'm right about everything. So yeah, I predict these things. So yeah, Portland was the lone team that voted against the 20. They're literally the ones that benefit the most from it. They literally are. They are the team that's right next to the Grizzlies. They have a chance to make it, and they voted against it. That is hilarious to me. They are the only team. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Courtside Soundoff podcast. We made it to an hour, first time in a while, but if you guys are to find us on Twitter at Courtside Sound1, I'm at Josh Evanoff. He's at AngelTago_01. We're available on YouTube, Podbean, Apple Podcast, Anywhere you can find podcasts, you can find us. So if you guys want to tell your friends, you want to rate us on iTunes, you want to rate us on Apple Podcasts, we would always appreciate it. So you guys for listening. So peace and butt grease. Mouse click.